Hi, good morning. I'm here basically to let you know about what the private sector is doing in terms of supporting and nurturing entrepreneurship of the youth while they're in school. All right, there we go. I'd like to start by introducing to you Chino Atelano. Chino is 29 years old. He was born and raised in East Mapon, Tawi-Tawi, which is at the southernmost tip of the Philippine archipelago and where electricity is a scarcity. He is now the CEO and co-founder of his own startup, which is Timefree Innovations. Timefree is actually sells a very simple yet compelling solution, and that is queuing. And the problem that they're trying to solve is the problem of wasting your time while waiting in line. So if you go to a place or an establishment where there are usually long lines, like the doctor's office, payment centers, or maybe a restaurant, what happens usually is that you get a number when you go in, and then you wait your turn, and you spend your time in the vicinity of the establishment or in the establishment, and you wait your turn, and sometimes that wait can last for hours. What Time Free does is that it allows you to leave the establishment without losing your place in the queue. So what happens is that when you go get your number, you just input your mobile number, and then you can leave the establishment, go about doing other errands or other chores. And when your turn is up next, then you will receive a text message or a notification that you're next in the queue, so that you can return and transact your business. Now, this idea came about while he was still in college in Ateneo de Zamboanga University taking up electronics engineering. And he and his classmates were actually lining up at the registrar's office to pay for their tuition fees. And they thought, there must be a better way to spend our time rather than waiting in line. And that's exactly what they did, and Time Free was born. And this idea turned into a reality when they entered this project into the innovations competition that was sponsored by SMART, which is called SWEEP. SWEEP stands for Smart Wireless Engineering Education Program, and is the longest running industry academe linkage program that supports colleges and universities in order for them to help them produce industry-ready engineering and IT graduates. SWEEP started about 14 years ago in 2003, and it started because we had a problem. And our problem was we were losing our engineers in droves because they were finding employment in other telecommunications companies in other countries. And of course, we couldn't compete with that. And so we thought, it would be easy to fill in the gaps by just hiring fresh engineering graduates. Problem solved, right? Well, not quite, because we soon realized that when we got the fresh graduates, when we onboarded them, it took us 6 months to train them because what was being taught in the schools was not a match with what we needed in the industry. And by the time that we finished training them, they would already be leaving the company. And so back to the drawing board we went, and we thought, instead of waiting for the graduates to come to us before training them, why don't we bring the training to the students while they're still in schools? And that's where SWEEP was born. What we do is that we equip the schools with hardware that mimic the telco environment, and also provide them trainings that are delivered by our own engineers and IT professionals. And the beauty of it is that the teachers, the faculty that we train, embed the trainings and the modules that we provide them in their own curriculum. And that for us is sustainability and the multiplier effect, because even when the program ends, then the learning continues because it's integrated in the school's curriculum. And then every year, at the end of every year, as a sort of like a litmus test for us, we hold an innovation competition where we encourage faculty and student teams to develop wireless applications that solve or address pain points in their communities. And that is the SWEEP Awards. Well, in 2009, that's the same competition that Chino entered his project in, the SWEEP Awards. And in just last February 9, we held our 13th Sweep Awards, we got about 230 entries from 52 colleges and universities nationwide, actually even high schools, senior high schools, entered the competition. And after rounds of shortlisting and judging, we got our final 10 entries. These 10 entries, some of them have developed, some teams developed like a traffic app, an agriculture app, a transportation app, and so on and so forth. And these 10 teams vie for the top 3 spots. What do they get? They actually get cash prizes. And apart from that, what's more important is that the schools get school grants. The grants that the schools get go into developing, setting up their own innovation centers in their schools so that they can continue supporting innovation in their schools, or they can use the grant in order to develop further the applications that won. Now, in 2009, when Chino entered the Sweep Awards, he made it to the top 10 as a finalist, but he didn't actually win any of the top 3 spots. But in 2013, through the Sweep program, we provided him the opportunity and for him and other Sweep alumni, the opportunity to set up their own businesses. At the time, Chino was actually working with us in SMART as one of our engineers. And so what the company did is provided him a sabbatical for 6 months so he can work on his startup. And after 6 months, when he had a solid product, his first client was actually SMART and our payment centers. Because as you know, there are long lines in our payment centers. Another Sweep success story that I'd like to share with you came from a team that graduated from Bataan Peninsula State University. During our 10th Sweep Awards, they were actually the champions, and their product was called Coin Saver. And since it was our 10th year, we actually brought them all the way to Silicon Valley so that they can be immersed in the startup culture. So when they went back to the Philippines, what they did was they founded the very first makerspace of the country in Balanga, Bataan, and that was in partnership with the local government. The makerspace is a space where people get together and innovate together. And so basically for us in Sweep, what Sweep is doing is that it is supporting innovations in schools, turning school teams into startup companies and school projects that have the potential to become commercial products. We provide them the runway so that they can become actual commercial products. And in the 14 years that the Sweep program has been here, we've been able to work with more than 100 schools nationwide. And then we've been able to hire over 1,000 graduates into the company, engineering and IT graduates into the company. And the good news is that because of the trainings that we've been embedding in the schools, the tech trainings and entrepreneurship trainings that we've been embedding in the schools, we've been able to reduce our onboarding period from 6 months down to 2 weeks. And also we've been able to spin off six student teams into actual startup companies, and we will be continuing to do so in the future. And I'm happy to share that because of the Sweep program, SMART was included in Fortune's 50 companies all over the world that are doing well by doing good. It's a Change the World list. And so we're very happy about that. And basically, I'd like to just share with you our insights in Sweep all throughout these years. For schools that are here, for higher education institutions or even senior high schools or basic education institutions, it would be good if you can set up an innovation center in your school in order to support innovations, not just by the students, but also by the faculty. And this innovation center can deal with private sector or government or international funding on a commercial basis as well. And there will be professionalized project management, and you can protect the intellectual property rights of your students, of the innovations coming from your students and from the faculty. Also, it would be good if you can encourage different students from different disciplines to work together on a single project. For example, those in engineering and IT can work with those in business on a single project. And for sustainability and continuity, it would be good if the members of that group would be coming from different year levels. Also, even for basic education institutions, it would be good if you can participate in hackathons, seminars, workshops, or competitions like the SWEEP Awards. We accept high school students as well in order to immerse yourselves in the entrepreneurship scene, in order for your students and your faculty to practice what they've been learning. Also, it would be good to integrate entrepreneurship in the curriculum, even for those in the tech courses. Chino's actually an engineer by training, but then in his company, he's actually the business development lead. So there can be that shift. And for students, those who want to take the leap towards entrepreneurship, the time is now because the environment is conducive and it's supportive. But do get experience, get as much experience as you can before going into a startup. And then identify your pain point or your heartache. Ano ba yung hugot ninyo? That's important because that's going to be the main product of your company. Pick partners wisely because a large portion of whether a startup fails or succeeds is the team composition. And finally, like with anything else, give it 110%. So there, if you want to reach us, partner with us, these are our contact information. And I'd like to leave you with this short video. Thank you.
SWEEP stands for Smart Wireless Engineering Education Program and was created in order to bridge the gap between the theory you learn in these engineering schools and what happens in practice in the industry. Now, over time, the scope has a little bit changed because more and more also the other parts of the technology became important, like fixed and DSL and fiber. So today, while still it's Smart Wireless Engineering Education Program, we are more and more focusing on customer experience. So we will work with the schools and with the students to make them understand what's important for the customers today. Therefore, we are extremely committed to continue to develop the program, and we are looking forward to work with the schools and the students in designing SWEEP for the future.
Start kami na magkaroon ng mga trainings and nakita namin na meron palang another opportunity for us ECE students. Then eto nga yun, yung communications.
Every year, I get new wild ideas. So, yun yung exciting phase. A student will just come up to you kapag submission ng SWEEP. So, that's where I come in. Ipapakita ko sa kanya kung ano yung next step. I will guide him.
You do things to solve a problem. Saka ka lang kumikita ng pera kapag marami tao ka nang natulungan kasi kailangan nila yung solusyon mo.
A friend of ours was in line in our finance office and waiting to pay while studying for an exam. So, bigla lang niyang sinabi sa co-founder namin na, what if pwede kang i-text pag malapit ka na sa turn mo? Right then and there, bright idea, then they submitted the proposal.
So, yung motivation namin is para yung mga katulad namin na youth, ma-involve sila sa farming kasi yung mga farmers, medyo hindi na sila pabata. So, kailangan may papalit sa kanila.
It came from an idea when we accidentally saw an old blind lady sitting around the corner of a massage spa. So, after observing her, we have seen that she is having a hard time using her cell phone. So, we've seen na hindi lang pala through the phone siya nahihirapan, pero through mobility.
Yung product namin, yung Smart Kiosk, it's actually like a vendo machine. Specifically talaga target namin is yung mga nasa provincial areas. Pwede ka dito mag-text and mag-load.
Well, SWEEP is actually the reality. It's the reality of your dreams. Pinangarap mo lang na gawin yung isang bagay, pero ngayon, nakita mo na nagawa mo na siya and it works. It actually works. So parang wow, ito pala talaga yung nangyayari in reality.
Kumbaga, project lang siya dati. Tapos, dahil sa kanila, we were able to move forward, turning that project into a main product line ng company namin.
yung sweep, it changed my perspective, and then you will realize that that it's becoming part of you.
Meeting new people, going out of our boundaries.
So nagtatalo-talo nga kami. Pero in the end, parang nagkakasundo pa rin kami para makalabas ng kung anong actual na project na.
Well, sa Swift, basically, inspiring yan eh. Kumbaga, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we couldn't have pictured ourselves
Thank you,
running our
Ms.
own
Orlino,
companies. But basically
for
what
that
Swift gave
presentation.
us